Three, two, one. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the round three of British Council webinar series with the Manchester Metropolitan University. Today's webinar is unique, rather exciting. Through your screens while being comfortable at home, you will have the opportunity to receive information and advice from three experts joining us live from Manchester Metropolitan University. This is Harun Rashid and I'm the manager for British Council Study UK, and I'm grateful to you all for joining us today. This is the 18th webinar of the British Council Study UK. Until the end of this year, we shall be hosting about 20 more webinars with prestigious universities from the United Kingdom. These webinars will provide you with an exclusive opportunity to listen to university representatives talking about their university and sharing latest admission-related information, which will allow you to set your plan to study in the UK rolling. But before we kick off, for the participants who are new to this series, a few housekeeping rules. Except the presenters that we have today, please keep your camera and microphone on mute. You can ask questions throughout the session in the Q&A box, which is accessible to you. British Council team will be moderating your questions behind the scenes and will ask these questions as a part of Q&A session. If we miss out on any questions, we will make sure that these are answered by the university representatives, and we will share their replies with you after the webinar. Once the webinar concludes, we will share feedback form along with the recording of this session, and we shall be thankful if you share your comments and thoughts with us. All right then, as a study destination for international students, UK is a unique and perfect choice. Our welcoming way of life, exceptional academic standards, rich and historical culture will inspire you to become the best possible version of yourself. 30% of UK research is classified as world leading and 46% as internationally excellent. The unmatched skill and exposure that a student gets in the UK, the chances of employability significantly improves. This also includes the international mobility. Out of 3 top universities in the world, 2 universities are found here in the UK. In addition to this, 26 of our universities and colleges are among the world's best 200 institutions for learning. This is why we are we are one of the most trusted and popular study destinations. 2018-19 alone, over 485,000 students for undergraduate and postgraduate chose to study in the UK over other countries. Now coming to one of the most awaited news for the students this year, I'm sure this will encourage you to apply to universities in the UK. So here we go. From summers next year, international students who successfully complete their undergraduate or postgraduate degree will get a 2-year post-study work visa through the new graduate immigration route. Students who complete their PhD from an institution in the UK will be able to stay for 3 years. This graduate route will be available to international students who have a valid Tier 4 students visa at the time of their application and have successfully completed a degree at either undergraduate level or above at a higher education provider in the UK. Successful applicants on this course will be able to stay and work or look for work in the UK at any skill level for a maximum period of 2 years. Upon completion of their studies in the UK, of course, PhD students will be able to stay for 3 years. Graduates will be able to switch their visa type to skilled work once they have found a suitable job. This new route will be launched in the summer of 2021, meaning any student who graduates during or after the summer of 2021 will be able to apply for post-study work visa under this graduate route. This graduate route will require a new visa application. It will include the payment of a visa fee and the immigration health surcharge. Those who graduate or whose Tier 4 student visa expires before the route is introduced will not be eligible for this graduate route, I'm afraid. But do note, this is very important. UK government has confirmed that if you begin your studies through either distance learning or online learning in 2020-21 academic year, which is the current academic year, you will still be eligible to apply for the graduate route, provided you arrive in the UK by 6th of April 2021. All right, moving on. If you are a student who has applied or will apply to universities in the UK, this is the website you should not miss. Study UK website is the website with lots of information and resources that will support you in filing the best possible application to the universities. No matter you're looking for information on course selection, accommodation, scholarship opportunities, funding and budgeting, student visa, you name it, and we have it for you on the Study UK website. Now coming to the ACME, the highlight for today's session, Manchester Metropolitan University, which is a modern university inspired by the spirit of a global city, challenging students to make their mark on the world. Ranked among the world's top 200 universities under 50 years old, Manchester Metropolitan University offers a wide range of programs at foundation, bachelor, and master's level across its 6 faculties, which are business and law, science and engineering, arts and humanities, health, psychology and social science, social care, and education. Located on a beautiful campus in the city, in the center of UK's most exciting cities, students at Manchester Met benefit from strong industrial links and lifelong career advice, with many programs offering paid placements. On-campus accommodation is guaranteed for all students, or good private options are also available. A winning combination of location, academic quality, and industrial links makes Manchester Met a very popular choice with students from Pakistan. Scholarships of up to £5,000 are available for all programs at foundation, bachelor's, and master's level, while funding opportunities are currently limited for the PhD. All right, as I mentioned earlier, this webinar is exclusive. For today, we have 3 experts, specialists of their fields joining us live from Manchester Metropolitan University. John Byrne is the program leader for the BA Honours Business Management, a program informed by an employer advisory board with John chairs. As a senior lecturer in the Department of Strategy, Enterprise and Stability, his teaching focuses on providing students with opportunities to work closely with the employers. He supervises student groups conducting professional management consultancy projects for organizations such as Manchester City Football Club, Bentley Motors, and Asta. As a program lead, he works closely with the outstanding university placement team, supporting students in securing industrial placements and internships. Moving on, from the triple accredited business school at Manchester Met, we have Daniela Collins with us today, who is the placement and project coordinator. While working closely with the program leaders, Daniela offers structured one-to-one support for students applying for placements and internships, and hosts events for employers to present their placement opportunities to students at Manchester Met. Expert that we have today from the international office is Suzanne Carrell, who is the international recruitment manager. She joined the university 9 years ago and is proud to work for an institution that is so friendly, innovative, and supportive. And as a part of the session today, she looks forward to telling us more about her life and study with Manchester Metropolitan University. Now that we know the expert, the speakers, the anchor persons which we have today from the Manchester Metropolitan University, without any further ado, let's hear it directly from them. Floor is yours, John. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And I will just share my desktop with you. So hopefully that's coming through.
Yes, John, we can see your presentation now. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Well, welcome to Manchester Metropolitan University. I'm sat here in the business school today. As Arun said, I'm the program lead for the business management program, which is our main business program and is offered either as a 3-year undergraduate course or a 4-year course with either a placement year or an overseas study year. I also teach on the Business Administration and Management Top-Up Programme, which is for students who come straight into level 6 if they have, for example, an HND qualification or equivalent. My department is the Department of Strategy, Enterprise and Sustainability, and you'll see that those 3 themes come through in our programmes. The Business School recently acquired its 3rd major accreditation, meaning it's a triple accredited business school, which puts us in a very small and exclusive club in terms of business schools both in the UK and worldwide, and really is a mark of quality. And I'll show you actually today the linkage between the business management programme and the most recent award, which was the Equus Award. Our programmes are also accredited by the Institute of Enterprise and Entrepreneurs, because enterprise, business startup and entrepreneurialism are core themes in our programme as well. So our programmes are shaped by businesses. We work very closely with an employer advisory board, which I chair. What we do, we invite the employers in regularly and we talk about what we're doing, what we're planning to do, the types of things we teach, the types of things they would like us to teach. What are the key themes in business that they would like graduates to really understand? And that informs a lot of what we do. I'll give you a very concrete example of that. Traditionally, business schools haven't really focused on customers. Strange omission, you might say. But the businesses that we interact with said they want graduates who are ready and able to interact with their customers, whether they're internal customers in terms of within the business or whether they're customers outside of the business. So we introduced a new unit at level 4, which focuses on those customer interactions. And this long history that we've got of working with businesses was highlighted during the Equus panel review of our programmes, because the business management programme was the focal point of the Equus visit. Everything that we said we do as a business school, we had to demonstrate came through in the business management programme. And I just want to highlight a comment from the Equus report, which talks about the long history of corporate connections at Manchester Metropolitan University, really, and how that really underpins everything we do. And I'll speak in a short time about how that comes through within the units that we teach. We think that because we have these strong business connections, we prepare our students for the world of business. Students like Kai, for example, who says that the business management degree gave me a great understanding of business, but also helped him develop the skills and behaviours he needed for his placement and his graduate role at DHL Logistics. So it's not just about learning about business. We also encourage the development of skills, the development of activities which will help students in their graduate careers. But not all students choose to go straight into business. Our programme is also a launch pad for those students who may be considering a master's degree. Students such as Nida here. Nida's pictured on the right, along with Mo, who's our strategy lead, Jill on the left, and Kai there in the middle. Nida said that the degree in business helped us to secure a master's place, which she started in September. So there's 2 different outcomes there, but both very much successful from our programme. So now I'm going to talk to you about the course, give you an overview of the type of things that we do on the course, and then focus in on some of the themes that come through. So the BA Honours Business Management programme is structured so that in the first year you get a general introduction to the key areas of business that you might choose to focus on as you go through. And we've actually redesigned our programme very recently in collaboration with employers. So we've got some very exciting new innovations within the programme. We used to teach, for example, finance and accounting. We now teach financial technology, or fintech, the sort of thing that underpins Bitcoin exchanges and things like that, because our employers are telling us that actually that may well be in the world of kind of internet exchange, but it's also going to transform the way in which resources are handled within larger organisations. As I said, we've got to focus on customers, and we focus on innovation and sustainability as well, two of our core themes. During your second year, you'll still have some core units such as business operations or social innovation, but you'll also start to have some options, and options are there to help you shape the type of direction you might want to go in. So you might want to specialise more, for example, in marketing or in finance or in sustainability. So we give you some optionality. And then as you go into the final year, you get more optionality, as well as a real world project unit where you can actually practice your skills in a real world environment, usually business facing. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment when I talk about some of the units that we offer. One of the things that underpins the whole programme is that personal and professional development are there right throughout the programme, and they will help you with your graduate employability. I also mentioned our business administration and management top-up. This is a one-year programme where students come at level 6, or the equivalent of the final year. It requires the equivalent of an HND qualification, but you can see it's also designed for students to sort of land softly, if you like, in terms of their academic studies. So we have a unit which helps you to settle into academic study at Manchester Met. We also have the focus on strategy, on enterprise and responsible business, which are core themes for our department. So how will you be taught? Well, you'll be taught in traditional lectures. So that's usually where you take notes. You have someone like me standing at the front giving you a lecture for an hour. But you'll also have seminars where you'll discuss the content that you're looking at, and various workshops as well, which might be where you're actually doing more activities. There's also a virtual learning environment with additional resources, and we encourage independent study because ultimately it's your degree. The library here is open 24 hours a day during term time. And one of the things that also marks our programme out is that we offer opportunities beyond the campus. One of the opportunities we offer, for example, is a business startup competition. And as a result of that competition, Shankar last year won the competition and became the National Young Enterprise Student of the Year. Our assessments are mainly coursework focused. We have very few exams on our course, so most of the time it's reports, essays, or reflections on an activity that you might have done. So I'm now going to talk about some key themes that underpin our programme, and I think Haroon has already mentioned this. Real world experience. We don't just teach you the knowledge, we want you to gain real world experience with employers. So this is a unit that I teach on, and it's called Business Project Consultancy. Our students are given a real world consultancy from a business who we have a relationship with, usually around the Northwest, and they're asked to produce a consultancy report which will influence decision making within that business. Sometimes the businesses are very small businesses who can't afford professional consultancy. We had, for example, a manufacturing business last year that was looking to expand its horizons and actually export to South Asia, and it was looking at the different markets. Our students were looking at the different markets that may be available and what some of the processes would be to start that exporting. But we also work with some really big businesses as well. So I'm very lucky because I get to supervise the students who go to Manchester City Football Club. Last year, they did 2 projects. There were 2 groups doing projects. One was on disruptors to football income over the next 5 years. So the students had to think very strategically. And they also had to think about the rise of the women's football and how that could become a more prominent revenue stream for Manchester City. The other group was looking at Manchester City's pension provision and how employees, I should say, at Manchester City can better engage with their pensions. We also have students going to Bentley Motors every year to do consultancy reports for those, as well as Asda Supermarkets, which, if you're not familiar with it, is one of our leading supermarket brands. So this unit offers students the chance to interact with real players from business, get noticed by those businesses, and sometimes get recruited by them as well. The second example of this real world experience is the placement year that we offer to all students on business management. Daniela is going to talk in much more detail about it, but it really is a great opportunity to develop those skills with a business and sometimes be offered your graduate career at the end, such as Kai was when from our first slide. I'm not going to say too much, but I'm just going to play a video by one of our placement students who talks about the importance of a placement for her. And this is Rushni.
Hi, my name is Rushni. I am a final year studying business management at Manchester Met. I did a placement at Spectrum Brands. I was their sales and marketing intern for UK and Ireland. I did it for the whole 12 months as well. I would definitely recommend doing a placement year, whether it's 9 months or 12 months, just so you can build up your skill set, whether that's confidence, presentation, professionalism, all of that will come into play. Also, when it comes to graduating and applying for graduate roles or schemes, employers aren't just looking for a degree on a piece of paper. They do want you to have some sort of experience, and you will be competing with hundreds and hundreds of other students across the UK. So I would definitely recommend doing placements.
So there's a strong recommendation there for placements, and Daniela will give you all the information you'll need to understand how we operate placements within our faculty. This is just some examples of some placement employers from recent years. You'll notice there the Walt Disney Company. That wasn't the Walt Disney shop in Manchester, it was actually Walt Disney Orlando that the student was placed at, and also TravelPerk, which I was very lucky to visit, which is in Barcelona. So we have some placements in the UK around the Northwest, but we also have them nationally and internationally as well. And many companies that we work with only recruit placement students from Manchester Met because they know the quality of the students coming through the business programs here. I went to one office to visit a placement student, and his placement employer had also done the BA Honours Business Management program with a placement at that organisation, and his immediate manager had also done what we used to call it BA Business at Manchester Met and done the placement there. So some organisations really are Manchester Met Business Management through and through. Another key theme in our programmes is sustainability. This is a core value for us, both as a department. I mentioned that we're the Department of Strategy, Enterprise and Sustainability, but also as a university. We've been named the UK's greenest university 2 out of the past 5 years. The business school itself has won awards for its green credentials. So we want to transfer those values to our students to take out into the economy once they graduate. So we have units in global concerns in sustainable development, for example. Sorry, I've just noticed a typo there, it should say development. And on this unit, for example, students actually gain an additional certificate from the Carbon Literacy Trust, which runs a small course within the unit, so they come away with an additional accreditation as part of this unit. Another core theme we have is strategy. It's very important for business management graduates to be able to think strategically, really have a good sense of where the global economy is going, and apply concepts and theories to a range of case studies. Now, Mohammed Rouhanifar is the unit lead for this, and he says it's the most intellectually challenging and rewarding unit because of its utility from day one in any organisation. Essentially, all organisations are underpinned by strategy, so understanding strategy is fundamental to understanding the directions of organisations. Students on this unit complete a case study on a particular business, And on a few occasions, they've actually submitted that as part of a graduate application, and they've skipped various stages of the graduate application process because of the quality of their strategic analysis. Another theme that I've already mentioned is enterprise and startup, entrepreneurship and startup. So for those students who are interested in running their own business, Manchester Met is a great place to come, because we have a specialism within entrepreneurship and startup, which is embedded within our programme. This is an example of how it's embedded on our business project Young Enterprise, one of those final year projects that I mentioned. On this unit, students start their own business and they trade throughout the course of the year. You can see, for example, the business in the middle. They started a children's colouring book based on water conservation, so another one of our themes in terms of sustainability, and they actually turned over £3,000 during the course of their studies. And as Chloe said, it really emphasises those skills and behaviours, lots of teamwork that she developed through her course and her place on the Young Enterprise project. And Chloe went on to be a graduate regional manager with Ribena Lucozade, one of the UK's biggest drinks brands. We also encourage students to take them out of their comfort zone. So, for example, this unit is run as a competition between different groups. And last year we held the final of the competition in an investment bank in central Manchester around other entrepreneurs. That's B-Works on the right there. And that's the winning team from last year. They developed a range of South Asian snacks, which they marketed and sold as part of their project. So there really is that opportunity to practice as a business. We also have a business startup hub at Manchester Met called InnerSpace, and so students who want to can actually base their businesses within that around other entrepreneurs. So in terms of graduate outcomes, well, the general business management degree is designed for you to go into all sorts of areas of business. You might choose, by choosing various optional units, to specialise in particular areas, but there should be no area of business that is closed to you. We have students going into IBM every year, for example, like Shankar, who I mentioned earlier. We have students going into the NHS. We have students going into the public sector, into logistics, into all sorts of roles, whether they be traditional, operational, or digital. You will be skilled to go into all sorts of roles through the business management degree. It really is a vehicle for graduate employment. The other thing that students can do is choose a postgraduate opportunity, and students can stay in the business school and they will benefit from a reduction in fees for our postgraduate programs, and they can choose to specialise in things like entrepreneurship, project management, management consultancy, for example. So there's lots of options there as well. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, John. We have a couple of questions. My first question would be, in the business school, are you going to have blended learning, or is it going to be face-to-face classes for the first semester or for the coming year probably?
We are currently having blended learning, which means some face-to-face classes and some online classes. Depending on the situation come the following September, it would be our ambition clearly to return to full face-to-face teaching. But if not, we would be on a blend of face-to-face and online teaching.
Right, thank you very much. My next question is, you mentioned about a 3 years and a 4-year degree program. Can you please explain the difference between them? And you also mentioned about an international year abroad. So if you could also please highlight some of the benefits of that international year abroad as well.
Of course. So the 3-year program is where you can you take all of the 3 years consecutively here at Manchester Met and graduate. The 4-year program is where you have a gap in the between your second year and your final year, and that's where you would either take an industrial placement or a study abroad year at one of our partner universities, either in Europe or across the world. So that would be the third of the 4-year course. Those routes are available to all students on the business management programme. In terms of our overseas study, there are opportunities in Europe, in America, in Indonesia, for example, in Australia, Japan, and so on. And students would study usually at one of our partner universities for the course of the year. If you take one of those two routes, you also get a different award at the end of the programme. You get an award with that title added to it. So business management with placement for those students who've done an industrial placement, business management with overseas study for those students who have chosen to study at a partner university overseas.
Thank you very much, John. My next question is, which one would you recommend? A degree with a work placement option or a degree with a placement abroad?
I think it depends on the type of student that you speak to. Some students are really ready to go into that work placement opportunity. They're willing to, to go into the world of work. Other students say to me things like, I don't want to go there just yet because I don't feel that I know myself or the world well enough, and I want some more experiences. So they would be typically the students who we would direct towards overseas study, for example. Students who haven't quite chosen the area that they want to work in at that point, but know that they want to experience a bit more of the world before they decide what it is they want to do. Both of those options have very good outcomes for the students. We would expect to see 90% of students on the placement or study abroad year getting either a first-class degree or an upper second-class degree, which are the two highest categories.
Right, thank you very much. And for students who opt for the international year abroad, do they have to pay, in terms of the tuition fee, will they be paying the tuition fee of the Manchester Met University or of the host university that they would be going to?
So for the students who go abroad, they would pay a fee to Manchester Metropolitan University, but it's a much reduced fee on the usual fee. It's not the full fee that they pay in the other years when they're attending Manchester Metropolitan, and there are no fees for students at the university that they attend overseas for that year, apart from things like accommodation and the usual living.
Okay,
yeah.
Great, thank you. One last question on the work placement. For students opting for the work placement option, do they have to pay a tuition fee to the university for that year, or is that a subsidized tuition fee, for example, if they opt for the placement year?
Okay, so the students, when they take the placement year, they pay, again, a small reduced tuition fee to Manchester Metropolitan University. It's not by any means the full fee that they pay in other years, the same as with overseas study. And that represents the fact that through that time on their placement, they're also receiving support from Daniela, who you'll meet shortly. She generally visits students on placements. They're also taking academic assessments as part of their placement, linked to their placement. So there is a small fee that's associated with that. The second part of that answer, though, is to also make it clear that when students are on the full year placement, we do expect that they'll be paid a salary of around, of at least the equivalent of £12,000 a year, because we don't want our students being exploited for free. So generally students on a placement route would be earning a salary as well.
Right, thank you very much. My next question is, one of the concerns these days for students is obviously, everyone is trying to adjust to the new normal. When students apply abroad these days, or probably in the coming year, most of them would be going through a blended learning. My question is, how would the university sort of ensure that the quality of the program is still there in online classes as well?
That's a very good question. The way that we do it is that we listen very carefully to the voices of our students. We took an early review of all units from our students to get feedback in terms of how they were being delivered. In many cases, students actually preferred the blended delivery. Let me give you an example. I mentioned about traditional lectures. So on a particular unit, you might have me going into one of our big lecture theatres and giving a lecture to, up to 250 students in a normal year. Well, if you happen to be ill that day and miss the lecture, we have lecture capture, but you might miss some of the content. Whereas what we've done is actually pre-record all of our lectures and make them available to students in their own time. So when they come to do their assessments, for example, they can re-watch the lectures that are pre-recorded. Now, I personally think having a version of lectures pre-recorded is one of the practices that we will continue to do, even when things hopefully get back to normal. So as well as checking to make sure the quality is there as an equivalent to what we've done in the past, we're also trying to learn lessons where actually the things that we're doing now might enhance the new normal going forward, especially if things do return to a state where we can do full face-to-face.
Right, thank you very much, John. One question from our perspective, as most of the students, when they consider applying to a master's program, they generally do not have the work experience. And most of the universities in the UK would require a work experience, especially when you apply to an MBA program. Can you please explain the difference between an MBA and an MSc program? I know that generally students without work experience are encouraged to apply to an MSc program. Could you please explain the difference, and also what advice would you give to our students on whether they should apply to an MSc program or have the work experience and apply to an MBA program?
So an MBA program is typically classed as executive education. So the type of learning that you would be doing in that program, there is some traditional learning, but it's very much an emphasis on the student and their experience and applying that learning to their experience. So by definition, they have to have had executive leadership experience so that they can then reflect on their own practice and develop their own practice. It's not the case on an MSc program that you need to have that prior experience, but we have designed our MSc programs, for example, to integrate an internship or placement year, so that students can gain that experience as part of their programs. So an MSc program is more traditionally taught, whereas an MBA program is very much about students talking about their own experience with other high-level leaders within organizations. Usually for an MBA, you would require between 3 and 5 years, not just experience, but managerial or leadership experience.
Thank you very much, John. And that's all from my side from the questions. Can we request Daniela now to please continue with the presentation? Thank you.
Do you need to take over, Daniela? Are you able to?
Do you want to just go? It might be easier if you just click the slides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just in case. I don't want to mess the PowerPoint up. It should be easy enough. So hi guys, I'm Daniela. Lovely to virtually meet you all. I'm just around the corner from John actually, but in central Manchester. It's quite miserable today. So if you just next slide for me, John. So there I am on the screen if you can't see me on the video board. So I'm a placement and project coordinator, and I work really closely with all of John's students, actually, even the MSc programs within the business school. So that is one of my main roles as a placement and project coordinator, and I also visit the students out on their industrial placements. I've just been allocated my students this year, and I've already been chatting to them all. They're all having a lovely time so far. I thought it'd be helpful today to go through what we would normally do with our level 4 students. So as if you were just starting out and you wanted to know about how you're going to start that placement journey. So this is very much what our students see and the information that they have. And I hope you find it helpful. And like I say, if you've got any questions, do direct them to the chat box and we'll hopefully be able to add them at the end. So I'm going to tell you about the benefits of doing a year in industry. And we're going to take a look at how our ManMet students and what they have to say about their experiences while out on placement. I'm going to touch upon some resources that you could look at, which helps you find a placement, and tell you about the placement's timeline, so you know what to expect and how you would be able to track that journey, and right from the word go, because we really encourage our students to think about this even before they start university. I'm sure John can vouch for it, that we, you know, even in open days, we are telling you about these amazing opportunities that are available. So let's go. Next slide for me there, John. So the big question, why do a placement? Well, the answer's simple, to be honest: to become one of the best and most employable graduates at the end of your degree and ultimately secure a graduate role. A year in industry is the beginning of your future career, and it also is a great place to try out an area you would like to work in, and under the security of still being a student at the university and still being able to access all that support from us whilst you're exploring your career path. Our ManMet placement year students, they're amongst the best students, and they come out with good honours every year, such as first class and 2-1s. They have an amazing experience whilst out on placement, as well as learning and applying a lot of the practical and work-based skills that John was discussing about the programme. They have the opportunity to really apply those strategic methods in their year in industry, and that just really is something that's so important, and it's fed back from the employers that John liaises with. They really they really find that students that have been able to apply those skills to their actual degree are just above and beyond and exceeding expectations within that. So so let's not take my word for it. Let's have a look at some of the students that have been out on placement. So this is Kerry. Kerry joined Zealed Creative in July after securing 12-month placement as a junior account executive. Kerry's an events management student, so she's not doing a business management course, but she is still within our business school. And she, during her second year, she found that she had a real interest in experimental events and brand aviation. And with this in mind, she decided to explore the option of a career in this world of creative marketing. As you can see on the screen there, she advocates and would absolutely recommend applying for a placement. We've also got a link to our placements blog, which I thought could be helpful, so you can click that link, and we've got loads of testimonials from other students on there as well. So I would recommend just having a little look at that, noting it down. We'll maybe copy it into the chat box for you as well. If we go into the next slide, John, this is going to be a video, and this is Shankar, who we saw in the previous slide.
And I did the applied management unit. So I did a placement year with IBM Security, and I found it was fantastic. I learned an array of workplace skills that helped me now within my university year, and I've also got a placement with them after. Would highly recommend. Hello, thanks, Jota.
Just skip that one, thank you. So that was Shankar. And obviously Shankar did really well with us, but it's actually a really great example of a student applying what they have done within their degree, then using it within their placement year and industrial year experience. The unit he's talking about there is something that you can do whilst you're out on placement, and the students that do it then end up, they've already got the credits for one of their units when they go into final year, so it can be quite beneficial with that in mind as well. This is another student that he did his placement at M Brown. We every year we place students within this company. They really love ManMet students, and I know John touched on that before. We work with employers year on year because they want our students. A ManMet student really does hold quite a lot of quite a lot of credit within these companies that we work with, and they really do appreciate our not just graduates, our placement year students. So Jack is 21, he studied at our business school and he's currently completing his placement at M Brown. It's a global digital fashion retailer, and it operates brands such as Simply Be and Jacamo, providing excellent clothing, home and gift for particular undeserved customer groups. His official job title is CSR and Sourcing Student Placement. CSR stands for Corporate Social Responsibility, making his role very ethically orientated, which goes back to the sustainability theme that we've got going on within our students. There's been only one student with this role prior to him, making the position fairly new and unexplored. However, this has not taken away from the amount of opportunity I've been presented with, he says. The sourcing team is split into 3 categories, so supply, planning, CSR and packaging. He's spent a lot of time with packaging due to the controversies involving plastic waste and deforestation, and as a result of this, he's attended 3 incredibly interesting suppliers, one of which is being Duo UK, a plastic polybag supplier with multiple customers such as Nike and Boohoo. So this is one of our students that's really taking one of the core values of what he's been taught within his degree, and he's applying that to his year in industry, and it's actually showing that he's been invaluable to this industry and giving them really good information about sustainability options within their corporation. And as you can see again, you can link to his full blog post. There's quite a lot of questions that he does answer about his year in industry, and I would encourage you to just check that out. They really do speak for themselves, but I wouldn't have time to go through them all. I wish I had videos of every single one really, so definitely have a little look at those links and check out those students. So next slide please, John. So I thought it'd be really helpful to show you the timeline of what we expect. So this is the timeline from the end of your first year of study. So you'd be going into second year, and this is the time frame of what we'd expect you to be going over in order to secure the placement and the goal of getting that role really. And it's important to point out that you have the whole of your level 5 academic year to find and secure a placement. You can access one-to-one support with people like myself. We'll help you with every step of that placement journey. We'll help you with where to look. We'll put on events and webinars. I've currently got one straight after this with SAP, a Meet the Employer event, which is the first sort of step, and we'll talk you through that and do CV workshops. And then once you start shaping where you want to apply and you start writing those applications, we'll read over those and we'll check that, and we'll make sure that they're the best they possibly can be. We'll prepare you for your interview, and we'll do interview prep, we'll do mock interviews. We've also got loads of amazing online resources with a service called My Career Hub, which all ManMet students and graduates can access, which is incredible. It's got so many different links to blog posts about how to improve every aspect of your employability. So it's really, you know, we'll then take you through that, and we'll take you through mock assessment centres. We do last year I think we did an actual mock-up of an assessment centre. This year we're going to do it virtually, but we'll make sure that you're really well equipped for what those big employers are wanting from you and what they're expecting from the ideal candidate. And we don't just guess that, we ask the employers, what do you want from your ideal candidate? When we go out and visit our students, we want one of our students to go again next year, and we ask them. So every piece of our one-to-one information and guidance is directed again by the employers and what they are looking for. So we'll really help you with that. Okay, next slide for me, please, John. Another thing that I thought that would be a really good way of showcasing to you is the best way to secure one of our placements, especially in the UK, is LinkedIn and the importance of it. We do have a ManMet placements group on LinkedIn. If you guys are on there, feel free to to check that out. It's for our students, alumni, it's for employers and people that are connected to Manchester Metropolitan Placements in any way. And we really encourage discussion on there, and jobs that might be coming up, and actually testimonials and stories from past students that are currently still working in the places that they did their placement. So they came back, graduated, and they're actually working back in those companies. So that's really exciting. And I really would recommend that. So if you haven't got a LinkedIn account, I'll give you a top tip before you're even here. Get a LinkedIn account and get on the ball with it, and make sure that it's a really, really great profile, and you're networking, especially in this virtual world. It is such a great tool for you to connect with people, to connect with corporations, companies, and people that are like-minded to you professionally. And it's just a really great resource for looking for those things. The next slide for me, John, if that's okay. We would also then guide you through where to look for your placements. We don't, as a team, we support you every step of the way in the process of finding a placement. This prepares you for how to find a job. And so we very much want you to learn how to do it yourself. So although we guide you and we will help you, we do not find a placement for you and give it to you. So we will really help you in where to look for those. These are just a handful of companies that are online resources where you can find amazing placement roles and really, really great hidden gems. And these have the global roles as well. So in particular, Rate My Placement. If you're interested in internships, and I know that someone touched on that with the MSc program, we actually do 100-hour internships, which it sits with the placements team as well, and that's accredited within an MSc, so a postgrad course. And Rate My Placement has internship opportunities on there. And we also have an internal jobs board called My Career Hub. This is where we put MMU exclusive roles. So that means that the company only wants an MMU student to work with them, and you won't find those roles anywhere else other than our internal job board. So that is something that I tell all of my students to always check out and look on My Career Hub, because again, there could be some opportunity on there that isn't on these open boards that you can see on the screen here. But it is really worth having a little look. One I would say to have a look at, just to get an idea of what placement roles look like and the salaries that are attached to those, because they do all have salaries. I know that we've got Aldi in tomorrow. I don't know if you know Aldi, but it's quite a large supermarket. They have a lot in the UK, and their starting salary for a placement student is £25,000 for their year in placement. So we do require a minimum of national minimum wage, and it's around 12,000, but a lot of our placements exceed that, and you are at a graduate level employment role and wage and salary. So have a look at Rate My Placement, have a look at those options, check it out, and just see what those jobs are going to be on there. So you just type in Rate My Placement. It's very, very easy to do. They are linked, so the PowerPoint has, they're all links on there, so you should be able to click the link either. So I'll just leave it open in case you wanted to do that. Next slide for me, John. So that's the end of my talk. I'm going to hope that you have some questions. So if you do have any questions for me, please do ask them.
Thank you, Daniela. A couple of questions for you. First of all, we would like to know, how do the placement year works? For example, is it a guaranteed placement? Is there any sort of prerequisite to getting it? For example, any certain grades? Or does everyone who apply for a placement year get successful in getting the placement? Okay. And in case if this is not the case, for example, I mean, let's say if 10 students apply to a placement year and 5 of them are successful in getting it, what happens to the students who initially applied for a placement year degree program?
Okay, that's a great question. So I touched on it before. A placement year is very much, I want you to think of it as applying for a job. Okay, so it's very much the same as the application process for a job. So we wouldn't expect you to apply for one placement, secure that placement, and that's the only one you apply for. You'll be applying for multiple roles that fit within what you are looking for and the sort of shape of what kind of job role you want, which is why I think it's good to look at what placements are available now, even before you start, so that you have an idea of what jobs you are interested in, what placement jobs you want to do. There's no guarantee that you're going to secure a placement, although we will do everything in our power to help you with that. And if, like I saw a student last week, he's applied for like 5 placements already, but he'd not been to see me actually. He'd just been to some of our talks and webinars, and he booked in for an appointment. It was a business management student. And I said, right, let's get your CV out. Let's look at the applications that you have sent. And did you get any feedback? And he did get some feedback. And his CV wasn't quite good enough. So we tweaked that, we changed that, we improved it. And he's going to be applying for a role next week. And I'm really positive that he's going to get to the next stage of that interview process. You have to have a lot of resilience when applying for a placement. They are competitive. You're competing against your fellow peers. You're competing against a lot of other institutions and students that are doing that. So having a good grade in your first year of study is beneficial. Doing lots of extracurricular, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have years of work experience. That's not expected. You're doing a placement, but having extra things to talk about yourself and to showcase about yourself not only shows you as a professional person, and if you are going to be doing a business degree, then you are a professional person even before you're applying for placements. So you should be doing those things anyway. But yeah, so basically making sure that you have things to talk about yourself is really important, and obviously trying to get the best possible grades that you can in your first year really does help with showcasing that on your CV. And I always tell my students to put that on their CV to show that they are good at those skills that the employers are looking for.
Thank you very much, Daniela. My next question is, do you have any sort of examples to share with our students, especially from Pakistan, who have been selected by the Organization for Work Placement, and what are they doing at the moment?
So an example of a student that's actually in placement at the moment?
Yes, please, if you could.
Okay, so on our LinkedIn group, we have lots of students that are currently on placement and they're chatting on there. So you can access that and just see that in real time. And you can also go on our blog, which I'll post the link in the chat box once we've finished with the questions and answers. And you can see testimonials from students that either are currently out on placement or have just come back from placement. We don't have loads of testimonials of the students just out on placement because they've only just gone on placement. But we will be getting those going through to the blog as soon as they come through. So it's worth just checking that out and keeping up to date.
Thank you very much, Daniela. Can we request Suzanne now to please continue with the presentation? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. And if you could continue to turn the pages, if that's okay, that would be appreciated. So hi, everyone. Welcome to Manchester Met. My name is Susan. I'm an international recruitment manager based in the international office, and I'm going to talk to you about the university a bit more generally now and give you some information on things like scholarships, fees, and about our location as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so the clue is in our name. We're located in Manchester, which is in the northwest of the UK. So we're about 2 hours train journey, 40 minutes flying time from London. Manchester has a big international airport, so you can fly directly into the city. And it's literally only about a 20-minute drive from the airport to the university itself. And it's probably only about an hour's flying time across to Europe, so to Paris, Amsterdam. So it's got a really great location for exploring the rest of the UK, but also for travelling into Europe as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so this slide gives you an idea of our campus size. As you can see, we're right in the heart of the city of Manchester. Everything you need is in the one campus area. It's about a 10-15 minute walk from one side of the campus to the other. You can see the business school there, and next door to that you've got the library, which actually isn't shown on that diagram. And then the little house symbols show you where our halls of accommodation are located. So again, literally a few minutes walk from where you would study. You've also got lots of shops, supermarkets near there, places to eat. And as I say, you are right in the heart of the city, so it's only a few minutes walk down to the nearest railway station. There's a tram system in Manchester, so it's very easy to get around and explore the city. Next slide, please. The university's invested a lot in the facilities. This slide gives you an idea of the types of buildings that we have on campus. Many of them have been purpose-built for the subjects that are taught in them, so the business school is a perfect example of that. So basically the university's invested in your future, so you've got access to cutting edge facilities, you've got access to all the latest industry standard equipment as well, so it gives you a really great learning experience whilst you're at the university. Next slide, please. So this is a bit of factual information about us. So we're one of the larger universities in the UK. We have over 38,000 students, and of those just over 3,000 would be international students coming from about 140 different nationalities. We are Silver TEF rated. You've already heard about our Triple Crown accreditation for the business school, and you've also heard about us being one of the top green universities in the UK. So that is a really important aspect of life at the university. Next slide, please. Okay, in terms of our structure, we have a number of faculties offering a wide range of curriculum. So these are courses from foundation level through to postgraduate study, a degree at PhD level. I've given you the link at the top there so that if you want to do a campus tour, a virtual one, you can do that and visit each of the faculties that are showcased there. Next slide, please. Okay, so you've already heard how fantastic our Faculty of Business and Law is, specifically around the business school, but we also have a really fantastic law school as well. And in addition to the triple accreditation, we're also an ACCA Platinum approved provider. And we were recently ranked 9th in the UK for our hospitality, leisure, recreation and tourism courses. And then if there are any Minecraft fans out there, you might be interested in doing the Minecraft campus tour. This was something that was developed as part of an international project by the business technology students, involving staff and students from the university and also a partner institute in Malaysia. So again, that gives you an idea of how students can work on exciting projects as part of the curriculum. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you're interested in finding out what some of our graduates have gone on to do from Pakistan, if you have a look at our alumni page, you can see some of our international ambassadors on there. So Saida and Mohammed have LinkedIn profiles, and you can connect on the alumni page there to read their stories and find out what they've gone on to do after they've left the university. And the alumni network is fantastic, lots of benefits for students, and it gives you lifelong access to career support once you've graduated from the university. Next slide, please. Okay, so more practical issues now. So our tuition fees for September 2021 have still been to be confirmed, but if you're an undergraduate student, you'd be looking at paying around £15,500 to £17,000 per year. And for postgraduate taught courses, that's masters, you'd be looking at £16,500 to £17,500. And the postgraduate ones are generally 12-month programmes, or if they have the placement option, then they will be delivered over 2 years. And then postgraduate research, the fees vary depending on the subject area and the bench fees associated with them. Next slide, please. We do have scholarships, so we have some automatic ones that are assessed from your application. So for undergraduates, we have our undergraduate international scholarships. These are awards of £2,000 per year, and as I say, you don't have to do anything to be considered for that. It's assessed from your application. We also have postgraduate international scholarships. These have awards of up to £2,500, and again, these are assessed from your application. And then we do have our competitive scholarships that you need to apply for. These are our Vice-Chancellor's international scholarships. These are open to both undergrad and postgraduate taught students, and they have awards of up to £5,000 available, and the application deadline for those is usually around the 18th of May in the year that you want to study in the September. And then in addition to those, we have some sports scholarships. So if you are particularly strong in the sports area, you could have a read through the sports scholarship packages that we have. Next slide, please. I mentioned the accommodation earlier when we looked at the campus map. We've got a number of halls. You can have a look at the facilities online. They all vary in price. For 2020, the rates were between about £112 to £152 per week. As I think John mentioned earlier on, first year international students have guaranteed accommodation as long as they apply before the deadline, which is usually in early August. It was the 8th of August this year. It's all located within walking distance of where you'd study, and the bills are included, so that's your water rates, heating, that kind of thing. There's 24-hour security on campus, and we do have some female only and alcohol-free accommodation available as well. Next slide, please. In terms of entry requirements, if you're looking to come and study a bachelor's degree, then we'd be looking for you to have between 75 and 85% in your high school certificate, FA/FSC, and IELTS 6 overall and not less than 5.5 in any component. We do have some foundation options as well, so if your results were a little bit below that, in the 50 to 70% range, then you might be able to access an integrated foundation programme. So that would be like a year zero, making a 3-year degree become 4 years. And for that, you'd need to have an IELTS score of 5.5 overall. And then for postgraduate taught entry, requirements vary, so it depends on the length of degree that you've done in Pakistan, the type of degree that you've taken, who the awarding institution was, and actually which master's programme you're looking to study with us, because we have different requirements for some of the courses. So the best recommendation we have there is for you to send in details of what you're studying to international@mmu.ac.uk with copies of any transcripts that you have, and then we'll be able to guide you on what you need to achieve to be able to access the programme. Next slide, please. Okay, so hopefully you decided that you want to apply to study with us. So if you're an undergraduate student, you can do that either by applying through UCAS, the university's central admissions service, or you can apply through one of our education advisors. And if you go to our country page for Pakistan on our website, then you can see who we work with in Pakistan. And then for postgrad applications, you can either apply online if you're confident that you can do that yourself, or again, you can go through one of our education advisors in Pakistan. Next slide, please. Okay, so I think we've covered everything. I've given you my contact details there. Do get in touch if you want any more information about the university or any of the courses, and you've also got the links there to our social media links as well. So we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and there's some really great videos that you can access on the YouTube link there. Thank you. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Suzanne. Can we request Ahsan now to please continue with the presentation, and we'll have the question and answer session in the end then. Okay. Thank you.
Ahsan, I believe you're on mute.
The new normal things. So sorry. So I hope you can now hear me loud and clear. So I have shared the presentation. Harun or Jawad, if you can share the presentation as well, please. So hi, my name is Ahsan. I work for the British Council over here in Pakistan, looking after a very brand new initiative here in Pakistan that is My English. So you all know that British Council conduct IELTS test over here in Pakistan. We are proud co-owner of IELTS over here, and we have been hearing from a lot of students that if British Council conducts IELTS test why don't they prepare for it? So here we are. We have heard all of your suggestions, and now we are offering IELTS and English classes. So my English is basically a blended learning project where you have your live online classes and you will have your study course material as well that you can use for your self-study. It is an English learning platform for adults only with expert teachers from Sri Lanka. So you'll have your live classes being delivered from Cambridge CELTA certified teachers and British Council trained teachers from Sri Lanka. And you will learn your grammar and you will also learn your new vocabulary at your own pace. So we have got 3 products in My English. That is My English itself, that is for your general interest topics, that is actually for your general learning of English. And then we have got My English Workplace. My English Workplace is for the ones who are like are already in their career and want to like improve their career prospects by, for example, improving their business writing skills or presentation skills or that kind of English. And then third comes, and most important for today's webinar, that is IELTS Coach. So that is structured to help you prepare for your speaking, listening, reading, and writing modules as you prepare for your IELTS test. A quick overview of all 3 products. So all 3 products are online. They all are based on blended learning. So which means you have your live online classes. And you will also have access to access study portal where you will be doing your assignments and submitting over there, and your teacher will be checking over there. My English itself is for general English. My English Workplace is for business English, and IELTS Coach is definitely for your IELTS course. Let me get into more detail for IELTS Coach and what are the course aims for our IELTS Coach product. So IELTS Coach basically will help you prepare for your speaking, listening, reading, and writing modules for your IELTS test, be it from general or academic. Taking this context, it will be more of an academic, but that depends on your requirement. We have courses for general and academic both. The course duration for IELTS Coach is 4 weeks, where you will have 12 hours of online classes divided over the time period of 4 weeks. And you'll have 30 hours of course access study material where you can go and do your practice over there as well. So 12 hours of classes will be distributed. We have variety of options available that you can take at your own ease. We have weekend courses, we have weekday courses. So for example, if you are taking for a weekday course, so you'll have 2 1.5-hour class in a week. And if you are opting for a weekend course, then you'll have to go for a 3-hour class on any like day, which can be a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. The course aims are basically to practice answering questions for 4 papers in IELTS test, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And the most important thing is feedback. So this is for the very first time in Pakistan. So a product like this with blended learning. So either usually what happens is either you'll have online classes only or you'll have course material only. So what we have done is we have combined both of them. And that is actually a very good thing for all the ones who are looking for a one-stop solution for IELTS preparation. You will also get feedback, live feedback. So most of the students that I know struggle in the writing part of the IELTS test. They don't score much over there. That is because sometimes when you're learning online, you don't have someone to provide feedback on your writing skills, or when you're doing live online classes, you won't have that facility. So in our product, so you will be getting live feedback. So you will be submitting your writing task to your teacher. You can interact with your teacher. You can write an email to the teacher for your writing task, and he or she will be giving you your feedback, will be improving on your writing thing. You will be practicing, you will be having tips, strategies for preparing for the IELTS test, and these will all be to make you calm and confident for your test day. We have resources on our portal for your grammar and vocabulary improvements as well. It will always also improve your English range and accuracy. So as I mentioned, so IELTS Coach will basically help you understand the test format, how it is. You will receive expert teacher guidance live, face-to-face in an online setting. You will understand the assessment criteria, like what do you need to do in order to score your required band, whatever your required Ben is required. You will practice your speaking test parts. You will learn to give extended and more detailed answers. You will improve your pronunciation. You will avoid breakdowns in speech. That will help you in your speaking part of your test. You will practice your writing. Both test parts 1 and 2, academic and general training module, focused separately. You'll learn writing sub-skills, including planning and use of paragraphs, and a whole lot more that is to do with your IELTS test. So coming to the very important point, that how do you get this product, and how do you how you can sign up and pay for the product. It's a 3 simple step journey. What I'll do is I'll post a link to our web page where you can go. What you'll have to do is we'll have to take a simple test that is an assessment test, self-assessment test, that will actually give you the level of English that you are currently. It's an automated test based on 30 questions. It will take you hardly 10 to 15 minutes. The first step is you go on our website, you take that assessment test. After you take that assessment test, the test will give you your English level, what English level you are at currently, and will obviously suggest the course. The second step is to add that course in your basket, and third step is to pay online. Now I know you have been waiting for this question, that I have told you everything about IELTS Coach, but how much does it cost? So an IELTS course or a My English course, all of them each will cost you 11,500 PKR. IELTS Coach, duration for IELTS Coach is 4 weeks, and duration for My English courses, which are to develop your English skills, are for 6 weeks. So you will be having a live online classes. You will be having self-study portal access. Apart from that, you will be getting a certificate as well. So if you fulfill the criteria of our courses, that is attending classes, doing the tasks, so you will be getting a certificate as well from the British Council. So you get all of these things in just 11,500 rupees. You will also be getting a detailed report of your progress in the middle of the course and in the end of the course, written by a teacher, giving you suggestions of how you have done and what you can else do to improve your English. All of this are included in this package. Apart from that, our system as our LMS, where you'll have the course study material, will also be tracking your performance and giving you feedback over there as well. I'm posting the link of our product in the chat, so you can copy and get onto a page and find more details on our website. Apart from that, if you have any queries, or you can definitely contact us at info@britishcouncil.org.pk, or you can even call us at our toll-free number, that is 0800 22 000. If you have any questions, I think questions will be taken in end, but I have published the link for our product page to go and have a look. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hassan. Can we request Suzanne for a couple of questions before we conclude our presentation and our webinar today? Suzanne, students would like to know if they can apply directly to the university, or they can only apply through UCAS.
Okay, so for undergraduate students, they have 2 options. They can apply through UCAS, or they can apply through one of our education advisors, and they can find the details of the advisors that we work with on our Pakistan country page on the international section of our website.
Thank you very much. Next question is around the top-up degree program that John mentioned in his presentation. Okay. How can students apply to that top-up program? And for example, students from Pakistan who have a Bachelor's of Business Administration degree, they're in the second year, can they also apply to a top-up program?
Okay, so we would do it on for access to top-up programs, unless there's an approved route, then it would be done on a case-by-case basis. So it would the qualifications would be submitted to the academic tutor for that particular course programme, with the equivalency information for them to make that assessment. Okay.
Right, thank you very much. Next question is around the English proficiency test requirements. So for example, if somebody who has done O levels and A levels, for example, do they still need to appear for IELTS, or does the university also offers its own English language test, for example, if somebody is unable to appear for IELTS, for example?
Okay, so we have, it depends on the course that they're coming in to study. If they're coming in to do a foundation level, then they need to have the IELTS. That's a visa requirement. If they're coming in at degree level and they've done something like an IGCSE and they've got a grade C or above, then we would actually accept that for entry to degree level study or postgraduate level study. And then in terms of if they'd done the IELTS and they were slightly down on some of the components, so they weren't quite up to the level that we required, then we do have some pre-sessional courses, but they would need to do an IELTS test first to be able to access that.
Right, thank you very much. One last question before we conclude our webinar session today. Our students would like to know about the scholarships and any special discounts that the university is offering for students from Pakistan. And I mean, is there a separate application that is required to be submitted, or would they be automatically considered for the scholarship?
Okay, so we have two different types. So we have some that are assessed automatically from the application. So that's our undergrad international scholarship, which is awards of £2,000 per year. So students from Pakistan would automatically be considered for that award. So if they met the entry criteria, they would get that award. So what it means is if their course fee was £16,000, for example, then they would actually pay £14,000 per year. Okay. With the postgraduate, we have some automatic ones that again are assessed from the application, and that's based on the results they get in their undergraduate degree. So we have awards of £1,000, £2,000 and £2,500. So depending on the entry grades, would depend on which award they would get for that. Then in addition to those, we've got our Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship Scheme. So that one is a competitive scholarship. So yes, students would need to apply separately for that once they've been offered a place on a course at the university. And the deadline for applications is usually in mid-May.
Right, thank you very much, Suzanne. That was quite helpful. Any concluding remarks would you, John, or Daniela like to share with us?
Just to say that obviously we're always keen to recruit students from Pakistan, and yeah, do get in touch with us if you need any assistance in terms of finding out more about the courses that we offer. I don't know if my colleagues want to add anything.
Yeah, it's been lovely to talk to you today about placements, and just check out the blog. I think the student testimonials really speak for themselves. It's better to hear from what one of our students has had to say about their experience. I think it's a very enhancing part of your degree in more ways than one, and really helps with employability and also your grade and outcome at the end as well.
Good. So thank you for the opportunity to programs to you, and just to reiterate what Susan and Danielle have said, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch on the email that I've put on the slides.
Thank you very much, everyone. And on behalf of the British Council and the Study UK team, we would like to thank you all for joining us today. We are grateful to colleagues from Manchester Met University for being part of the Study UK webinar series. And our students and counsellors who have joined us today, I'll email you the feedback form, and I'll appreciate if you can kindly share your valuable feedback with us. Thank you once again for joining us. Take care of yourself and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.